Good morning. How are you? This is truly Coffee with Mare. First coffee of the day, first real eye opening of the day. Um, Dreams last night. Oh, look at me. I am so sorry. Let's talk about dreams, shall we? Who believes in visitations? I'm not going to say who believes in dreams because dreams are real. But it's a word for them, right? Good morning, Joni. Oh my gosh, how are you? I'm like all discombobbled, girl. First of all, can you even hear me? I'm going to use my microphone, as awkward as it is in this bed. But then I think I'm going to extract it to a podcast so you can listen to it anytime instead of coming back to the YouTube and having to have the video on. So, Joni, if you could let me know you can hear me, that would be so nice. Thank you. All right, so let's talk about dreams. Let's talk about dreams, baby. If you're my age, you're singing the same thing. Obviously, dreams are real. We have dreams of all sorts of things. People chasing us. We have dreams of just being in a meadow. We have dreams of fishing. We have just dreams. But visitations obviously are a little different. Oh, I miss you too. You can hear me okay then, obviously. Thank God. Louder would be better. We can make this happen. Hold on for a minute. Hold on. Hold on. Okay. I'm going to work on this. Hold on. I don't know if that's any better. Let me know if that's any better. That should be better. Or I should just put it up to just really strange. A little better? Let me know as I sip the first sip. All right. I'm going to move this, I think, a little bit here. So I can hold this a little bit better. Okay, good, better. Thank you. I just turned up the settings. But visitations are a little different. You know, visitations, you probably have all had them, where they just don't go away in your memory. In other words, you know, you might forget you had a dream of fishing, but you never forget having a visitation with somebody. You never forget, like, I remember that dream 5 years ago. It was so real, and we did this or we did that. And that's what I'm talking about with visitations. So I actually had one last night. One was very dreamy. I could just tell. I should probably do my hair before I come on. So I am so sorry. I had a dream and then I had a visitation. So the way I can tell the difference is because the dream seemed to just have a lot of weird symbols in it. For instance, I'm going to tell her this morning, but I have a friend, Renee, who doesn't like to fly. And I had a dream she bought a little puddle jumper. Do you all know what puddle jumpers is, or is that just like an upstate New York thing? But she bought a little puddle jumper, and it's not something that she would normally ever buy because she'd be afraid of flying. So there's more symbolic references in it, in my perspective. So that was a dream. The things that happened in it were very dreamy. They were very, you know, it didn't feel like a visitation. And then I had a visitation with Cameron. And how I know it's a visitation is because when I woke up this morning, it's only like a half hour ago, I, for a minute, was still disoriented, thinking he was still standing here next to me, and I was touching his arm because in the visitation, we were laughing and talking, and he was telling me things, and such good spirits, obviously, he touched his arm. So there are differences, right? You have dreams, and then you have visitations. If you've had a visitation, like I said, you know what I'm talking about. It's undeniable. It's a visitation. So that's I think that might be a fun topic to talk about today. But obviously, if you guys have questions, you can ask me anything. I'm going to be on here for just a little bit. So um, anything at all, you can just ask. Oh, you love that in the comment. Thank you very much. Yeah, I love that too. That was just, it's just nice to know the difference, dreams and visitations. And I don't always get visitations. Sometimes I don't always dream because I don't sleep very well. But, it's rare for me to have a visitation and a dream. But obviously, it's not something that's impossible. So, again, if you wake up in the morning and you're like, oh, I swear I saw this person and I miss them so much. And then you also had, and then we went and then someone else popped in and okay, maybe that was a dream within all of that. And sometimes maybe they're just showing you who's around. Um, Session for me is like being in a dream. And that's why I tell all of you, drink a lot of water, especially after an hour session. Drink a lot of water when you get done. Go rest because, we're up in the clouds together for a bit. And you feel a certain way. I've had clients email me after saying, I feel sick, I feel weird, I feel great, but I feel weird. We've been up in the clouds. We've been in like this sort of dream state together. It's not a place we're meant to stay. God doesn't want us to stay there, but the intuition is there. The energy is around us, and certain people pick up the energy. And I guess that's what I do. I still haven't figured it out, but that's also the beauty in it. And I'm not supposed to figure it out. God's like, here it is, do well with it. If you don't do well with it, I'm going to take it away. But do well with it. And then when the time comes and I get nothing, then I'm going to go and be a flight attendant or something, which I've thought about doing because I love that. I love traveling. So it's funny. I had a dream of a friend who bought an airplane who doesn't like to fly, and I love to fly, but not on a puddle jumper. So, yes, Cameron is always with me. Joan, thank you for writing that. I know he is. Yeah, he really is. He's with all of us. Your family's with all of you. We don't just take off and leave. Our energy is in this perfect place. A lot of people say they're in a better place. No, it's a perfect place. You can't compare. But yet within that perfect, energetic, beautiful space of God, they can still, hang out around here with us too. And in not more than, in more than one spot. A lot of people think, well, you were with me today and go be with my sister tomorrow. They can be their energy. They could be with both of us at the same time. That's why a lot of times especially in session, I've experienced with some of you, many of you, where we both have chills at the same time. And now I know when I'm touched, I'm like, you must have been touched. Did you just get a chill on your left shoulder? Yes. Okay. So they can be with, two people at the same time. They're all over. It's energy. You have to understand what energy is and that's it. It's quite beautiful. Very interesting. Quite beautiful. So you don't always remember your dreams, Joan. Really? So and that's I think the biggest difference, right? Dreams we don't always remember. Visitations, like Joan, I know you've had visitations. Visitations are like, yeah, like that really happened. Like where'd they go? When you wake up and you think, did that just happen? Where'd they go? That's a visitation. Dreams, yeah, I think dreams are like a fleeting moment. Sometimes it's just our brain releasing all it needs to release. That's why sleep is so important. It really, kidneys flush our system. The brain is flushed while we're sleeping. So I think sometimes it's just this flush as well. But let me see. Oh, Maria, how are you? Good morning. Maria says, good morning. I have a loved one's birthday today, hoping I will have a visit. Oh my goodness. Yes, Maria. It feels feminine to me, and someone's nodding their head yes. So hello. I hope you're also getting like the chills or the touches and all of that. That's just wonderful. Happy birthday to her. But that's what I'm feeling. So that's pretty cool. Oh, Scott. Hello to you, and good morning to Pirate as well. Grand rising from Scotty Dog and Pirate. Oh, yes. Hello. Oh my gosh. How is Pirate? You're loud and clear here in Michigan. Thank goodness. All right. Perfect. Yes, feminine. That's what I thought, Maria. Yes. Well, she's definitely saying thank you. I'm just getting like mother vibes. Like I'm just getting like the pink and there's certain symbols I get for moms. My symbols are strange, um, but they're my symbols. Your symbols will be different. That's why I can't always say to someone, "What does this mean?" This is what I believe because yours are different. Mine are kind of set in stone of what works for me. Um, but yes, happy birthday to her. Beautiful. Scott, I decided to use my nano microphone. I use it, or I have used it in the past for my meditations that I recorded and some other things. But I decided if I use it today, then I can extract the audio from this and put it into a podcast every week. So if someone didn't catch it this morning, they could listen to it on their podcast on the drive home if they want to. So shout out for those of you who are going to be listening to the podcast for the first time. Yay, that's really cool. I'm excited. I hope it works. I'm still figuring it out, but I love to create, I love to figure things out. And if you've looked at my products, I love figuring things out. I love speaking to people who have figured them out. Shout out to Lori Baracco from the Mystical Moon, who's helped me create certain things such as my candles. Just gives me the insight of the how to and why I should. Pretty cool stuff. So, oh, it is mother. Oh, mother-in-law. Okay. See, in spirit, there really isn't. So, how do I explain this? Obviously your mother would come through like as mom big time, but a mother-in-law or someone who was like a mother, even an aunt or a big sister, someone who was like a mom to you in whatever role here on earth, in the human form, will still come across as a mom. So pretty cool. Yeah, happy birthday to her. That's awesome. And you guys can ask questions. As I said at the beginning, I told Joan popped right on. Joan, I think you were on before I was. I was getting my coffee. So Scott says, I lost a close friend when I was in high school and had many dreams about him that seemed like he was still alive. There it is. Check mark. That's a visitation for sure. So yes. So you know that feeling, right? Like that was a visit. I do believe our soul sort of floats, not always, but sort of floats because it can be in the energetic world when we're sleeping, again, when our brain is filtering and things feel really good. That's why sleeping is good for us, even a nap if you need to. It just filters and it just resets everything. But also sometimes our soul just sort of floats around and picks up a little bit easier. And so when we wake up, and we're like, that was real. I swear they're still here. That was a really cool visitation. I was, Joan says. I guess. Making sure I could read all the comments over here. I have to say, YouTube is a lot easier to read comments than I have on the different things I've used before to go live. And as a reminder, I will never solicit you. You're never going to get an email from me or a message from me saying crazy things. Like I never reach out. I'm a replier. If I reach out, it's to give you a Zoom link or it's to whatever. But never, so because obviously on Facebook, I did have that problem. I used a third party that would go out to Facebook and YouTube and all of that live. And even that, people were still getting messages. They'd be like, I'd get emails that said, how do you friend me? I don't understand. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Well, you said that something happened and you really need to read with me and to friend. And I was like, no, I don't do that. My goodness, I don't do that. So Joan says, I'm still wondering when my business is going to start getting busy. I'm hanging in. That just means you're not ready yet. It doesn't mean that you're not great at this. but it just means that you're not ready yet. Obviously, there's some things going on around you that need to be settled a little bit more. Really get your heart in it, not for the financials, but just for your heart to be in it, which I know you're already getting there anyway. So that's what it means to me. Um, just like dating, someone's like, a man's not there yet. Well, because it's just not time. Like, it's just not time. And although we want timing for business and we want timing for things, sometimes it's just not time. I think London is going to grace us with her presence in just a minute, or she's going to unhook my computer. Not sure which one. We're going to wait and see. So, yes. Hey, keep hanging in there, though. Just keep hanging in there. Believe me. I was thinking back the other day of, oh my gosh, the work I was doing just a few years ago. At one point, I was working with Lori still at Mystical Moon. I always had my own site. I kept those separate. I was also working at the church. And so for like a month or so, I was doing 3 jobs. And were we playing out? No, we stopped playing out the band. But there was always something. And it's nice for my brain to just focus on one. And just got to wait. You're welcome. You're welcome. Thank you for what you do. Thank you for what you do. Yeah, I should probably. Anyway, coffee with Mare. This is one of my mugs. I'll tell you a story about that one. So I'll see you in a minute. I love white. That's why you're going to notice a lot of the mugs are white, but the colorful one I thought is fun and happy. So that's why I did a colorful one. But this morning I went and put coffee in this mug, and there was something in it, so I cleaned it out. Did you ever not clean it out well enough that when you pour it in, there's suds again, like dish suds? That's what happened. Not only once, but twice, because I was in a hurry and I should have just, but I didn't. So I finally got it, and now I don't taste Dawn dishwashing liquid. So, Maria. Maria says, I had another loved one pass away suddenly last week, which was a drastic loss. I had a visit from their loved one prior to finding out. Wow. I'm assuming that loved one is also in spirit, and my head's shaking yes, so that's a yes. Maria, first of all, I'm sorry for what you've been through and the family has to go through. Sudden drastic losses are horrible. They're horrible. Our brain has to settle everything, and it takes a while to get there. So, I mean, most of the time when someone passes, we have to settle to get there, but especially not knowing. You're just running along, right? And then all of a sudden you're hitting this wall that you were not even expecting and remotely. That's what it feels like anyway. This feels like a man and a woman. So it's very interesting. Oh, and Marissa, welcome. I'm Maria's cousin, and I too had a dream with loved ones too. Really? So you both had dreams with loved ones, sort of letting you know everything is going to be okay. I feel like, just as a whole, this was maybe something that, with like a heart attack, something maybe that was starting to happen. And this was their way of explaining to all of you, I know this is going to hurt, but it's okay. Like, we've got him. I mean, it's never okay for us, right? It's really never okay for anyone in a human sense. But they were just saying, we've got him. It's going to be okay. We've got him. But I keep seeing, I'm seeing a man. I don't know if it's a man that passed here. And I'm seeing, looks like their father, could be their grandfather, but father figure for them. And I just keep seeing someone sort of like bringing them, like being there. I really believe, I've seen it a million times. And even in my own personal life, people are helping us along the way. Of course, if there's anything to learn today, it's how much God loves you. And even if you're like, I don't believe in God, well, then why aren't you out punching babies in the head? That's gross as that sounds. Why not? Why aren't you out robbing banks every day? Well, that doesn't feel right. What tells you that doesn't feel right? It's right in here. That's God. God's not a man in the clouds with a beard, like go to hell and it looks like Walmart with the hell signs, pumping above it. God loves us so much that God doesn't want us to feel anything but love and faith for God and sort of trust, like, okay, God's got it. And God's like, yeah, I got this. It's gonna, this loss in the human world is gonna sting, but there's a forever coming. So it's gonna be all right. And we have to have that faith. We honestly do. Without my faith, like I would not be here talking to you. I would not be here for my kids. I wouldn't be here for my granddaughters. Thank God I've always, always, always had faith, and I appreciate the faith I was brought up with, in the community that surrounded me and continues to surround me, including you, a lot of you right now. Marissa said, oh, sorry, Maria. Yes, it was my dad figure's grandson. Mm-hmm. Yep. Oh, and Marissa, her cousin, says, yes, my dad came to me with his brothers to get my boy cousin. Yep, that's it. I'm so sorry, all of you, for what you're feeling. But remember what the cup says. I'll see you in a minute. It's not today. We can celebrate life. We can celebrate their life, celebrate our lives, celebrate the gift every day of breathing and even mourning. We have a beautiful opportunity to mourn and to feel and to, love pours out our cheeks in little droplets of water. Do that, but also celebrate his life. It's just super important, not just in one day, celebrated every day, every single day. As you probably have read, excuse me, in the Little Book of Big Grief, the book I wrote, one of the books, I mentioned about my father. My dad didn't want a big hoopla. In fact, he told me on the phone, like, I'm always going to be with you no matter what. He didn't want all of us to have to, as he said, leave your lives. My sister's in Colorado. I'm in Florida. Our brother is still up where my father was living in upstate New York. And he said, I don't want you all to just, leave your lives. You've got the kids, you got taken care of, my, animals. And he's like, I'm always going to be with you. So just like gather when you want, or if you want, like, I'm always going to be here. And it was the first time in this Roman Catholic Italian girl's life I've ever heard that. And I love that he did that, not because we wouldn't have traveled, absolutely, but because I could just go back to bed and cry and mourn and then celebrate. And I continue to celebrate him, even in talking about him right now. Daddy, he knows I'm still celebrating him. And life isn't the white picket fence and the 2.5 kids and the 3 dogs and you have to do it this time and that time, and you go right from high school to college. Life is life. You have to listen to what is being told to yourself, and is it good, and will it help yourself and help others? That's a big yes. So there's just so much more to this. Marissa says, yes, my dad came to me with his brothers. Yep, to get my boy cousin. Sorry, I read that already once, but my brain is wanting to read that again. It's just amazing to me. Scott Curtis, this says, this was the week that I lost. Sorry, I was wondering that when I saw you came on and I said pirate, and right away I went to Cyrus. So anyways, Scott says, this was the week that I lost Cyrus last year, and I have to acknowledge how much of an impact, our reading 5 days later had on me. He appeared to you in a complete state of joy I will never forget, and neither will I. Scott, it's safe to tell the story, I'm sure, of when I first met you. I was working at the Mystical Moon. I believe we were in Bonita Springs at the store that's still there. And this man was waiting in the waiting room, and he had this really tall, beautiful dog. And I just fell in love with the dog in an instant. And it was the first time I've ever worked with an animal in front of me, like present in the session. And we came in and sat down in the room. And I think Cyrus even came up to me from what I'm remembering, and was just always a joy, always a joy for me. And when Cyrus expanded last year, I cried. Scott, I know what you've gone through. And then Scott decided, I want to help more. And I need this for me as well. And I'm not going to waste a whole lot of time. And I'm just going to see what happens. And Pirate showed up. And you are just the greatest father to Pirate. And thank you for saving Pirate and for all you do for Pirate. Pirate to me is more of a puppy. Cyrus continues to feel very prominent, very like this. I'm sort of sitting up straight. That was always Cyrus to me, very wise, very scholar. And Pirate is very intelligent, but when Pirate wants to be, Pirate just wants to run and to go crazy and to, experience life, like, don't we all? So complete joy for me as well. And thank you for trusting me with that. I appreciate it so much. Well, we're getting ready to wrap up. Coffee's starting to get cold. Who's drinking coffee? Are you all drinking coffee? I don't know if you can send me a picture, but I don't think you can on here. Kelly Harris, good morning to you. Girl, it's very early for you this morning. And you're drinking your coffee? There it is. Yes. Okay. So if anyone is drinking coffee, oh my gosh, I love this, Kelly. Everybody say hello to Kelly as well. I don't use Keurigs anymore. I don't use like the K cups. My father and Sandy, well, Sandy really always wanted an old-fashioned, percolator. Is that what it's called? Percolator? And I found one. This was years ago. I found one and sent that to them for Christmas one year. And they're like, oh my gosh, it's the most delicious coffee. It was like so great. And then when I went up to visit, they're like, we got to pour you this coffee. It was a great moments. And I loved it so much. The following year, she sent me one. And so that's what I use a percolator, and it's awesome. It's a little modernized. I don't have to put it over the stove. I plug it in, but it's, you could watch the water percolating. It's pretty cool. So, and you are too, Jones, drinking her coffee. I didn't know if anyone had like hot cocoa in the morning or tea, but I am definitely a coffee girl. I love tea at night. My friend gave me some lavender tea. Oh, so good at nighttime. And I have another friend, Laura. She's a practitioner. She showed me this tea. Forgot the name of it, but it actually helps clear like your liver and your digestive area, and that's really nice. Sometimes during the day too. But coffee for me in the morning. Trader Joe cups. Cake 12 for $6.99. No way. Trader Joe's. That was Cam's favorite store. No way. That's awesome. Yeah, Cameron's the one that told me about Trader Joe's. I was in Bonita Springs years ago when he was living with me, and we were in Placida, Florida, which is like Englewood. And he said, hey, I looked it up, and there's this Trader Joe's that Nick and I always go. I said, I know you've told me about this in Chicago. And he said, there's one right near where you are. Could you go in and get me some chorizo? I'm like, absolutely. What else do you need? He goes, that's all I really want is chorizo. I want to make you dinner. So I went in, and it's a not like real like chorizo meat. It's vegan. Because Nick was vegan, his partner, and Cameron ate vegan all the time. And so I went in and I bought a couple of rolls of it at Trader Joe's and brought it home, and he put it over brown rice. I've never tasted anything better, and I still do it. In fact, I put it inside homemade mac and cheese when I make homemade mac and cheese for my daughter and her friends. So just a little recipe thing. And Marissa said cocoa is her coffee. I'm telling you, maybe I knew that. Not that I knew that. Sorry, I don't know what I'm saying, but when I was talking about it, I was almost tasting like cocoa, and that was like, okay, well, maybe people also drink tea, and Marissa is drinking cocoa. That's fantastic. Well, everyone, I do have sessions available today. I thank you for last week. Last week was probably the busiest I've ever been in my life. And I was busy at one point, working the Mystical Moon and my own and this business. Thank you for that. We're booking up this week. My newsletter, Mayor's Weekly letter, comes out in the morning. Please write to me and let me know what topics you want me to write about, what questions you have, things that we can bring up for next Tuesday. And I love you too. Thank you, Kelly Harris. Have the best day today. Go do something fun. Even if you're just sitting outside with your arms wide open in the rain, go do something fun for even a moment, or if you could handle it all day. All right. Good morning. And thank you all for being here. I love you back. See you. Now let's see if I could end this. I have no idea how to. There it is.